Zach's fingers flew across the keyboard, lines of code flashing on the screen as fast as his mind could conjure them. The glow of the monitor reflected in his thick-rimmed glasses, the only light illuminating his cluttered office on the 57th floor. The rhythmic clacking of the keys came to an abrupt halt as a flash of movement caught his eye. He swiveled in his chair to face the window and froze, fingertips hovering over the home row. There, silhouetted against the twinkling city lights, stood a woman. But she was unlike any woman Zach had ever seen. Her skin shimmered with an iridescent sheen, as if infused with stardust. Long, lustrous hair the color of moonlight cascaded down her back. Her delicate features held an ethereal beauty that made his heart skip a beat. She turned, sapphire eyes locking with his. A playful smile tugged at her lips. Zach's breath hitched as she raised a slender hand and crooked a finger at him, beckoning him closer. Entranced, he rose from his chair and drifted towards the window. Up close, he saw that her gossamer dress swirled with galaxies. She pressed a palm against the glass. He mirrored the gesture, wishing he could feel her touch. The woman's lips moved, forming words he couldn't hear. But her eyes sparkled with mischief and secrets of the cosmos. Zach was intrigued, enchanted, utterly captivated by this enigmatic visitor. She tilted her head, platinum tresses spilling over her shoulder. With a wink and a come-hither grin, she turned and glided away along the outside of the skyscraper. Heart pounding, Zach hurried to the window, craning his neck to keep her in view as she disappeared around a corner. He pressed his forehead against the cool glass, dizzy with wonder and burning curiosity. Who was she? Where had she come from? He had to find out. And with a flutter low in his stomach, Zach hoped fervently that this wouldn't be the last he saw of the alluring woman from the stars. Zach's mind reeled as he paced his office, unable to focus on work. The mysterious woman consumed his thoughts. He replayed their brief encounter over and over, her enchanting smile, the galaxies swirling in her dress, the playful gleam in her star-like eyes. A soft tapping at the window jolted him from his reverie. Heart leaping, he spun around to find her standing there once more, hand raised to the glass. She beckoned again with a mischievous grin, as if inviting him to join her in some cosmic adventure. Zach hesitated only a moment before crossing the room in 3 strides. He pressed his hand against the window, aligning it with hers. A tingling warmth spread through his palm, up his arm, setting his nerves alight with exhilaration. The woman tilted her head, studying him with open curiosity. Her lips moved, and though Zach couldn't hear the words, he understood their meaning in his very soul. "Come with me," she seemed to say. "Let me show you wonders beyond your wildest dreams." Zach's rational mind grappled with the sheer impossibility of the situation. But his heart, his spirit, longed to follow her to the ends of the universe. He met her electric blue gaze and nodded slowly. Delight danced across her face. She twirled gracefully, her dress sparkling like a supernova, and beckoned for him to follow. Then she set off along the side of the building as if gravity were merely a suggestion. Heart hammering, Zach turned and raced out of his office. He jabbed the elevator button impatiently, bouncing on the balls of his feet as he waited for the doors to open. The descent to the ground floor seemed to take eons. But at last, he burst out of the lobby and into the crisp night air. He scanned the empty sidewalks, worry knotting his stomach. Had he lost her? A flash of starlight caught his eye. There, at the end of the block, the woman stood beneath a street lamp. The light shimmered around her like a halo. She smiled and crooked a finger, then slipped into a narrow alley. Zach sprinted after her, pulse pounding in his ears. He turned the corner and skidded to a halt, gaping at the sight before him. The alleyway was gone. In its place stretched a swirling portal of light and color, a gateway to the unknown. And at its center, arm outstretched in invitation, stood the woman of his dreams. Zach stood at the threshold of the cosmic portal, hand trembling as he reached out to clasp the woman's slender fingers. Her touch sent a jolt through him like an electric current. She smiled encouragingly, and gently tugged him forward. Together they stepped into the swirling vortex. Reality stretched and blurred around them, a kaleidoscope of colors and sensations. Zach felt weightless, adrift in a sea of stars. The woman's presence was his only anchor. When the world finally stabilized, Zack found himself standing in a crystalline chamber unlike anything he'd ever seen. Walls of shimmering opalescent stone pulsed with a soft inner light. Delicate arches and spires stretched towards a vaulted ceiling that showcased a breathtaking nebula. "Welcome," the woman said, her voice melodic and warm. "Welcome to my ship, the Celestia." Zack gaped at her, stunned to finally hear her speak. Her words seemed to bypass his ears and materialize directly in his mind. Who are you?" he managed to ask, awestruck. She smiled, a supernova of radiance. "I am Astrea, daughter of the celestial realm. I have traversed galaxies and eons to find you, Zack." His eyes widened. "Me? But why?" Astrea stepped closer, the starlight in her eyes dancing with playful affection. "Because your brilliant mind shines like a beacon across the cosmos. Your code sings with a harmony that resonates with the very fabric of the universe." She placed a hand over his racing heart. "And your spirit, your boundless curiosity and wonder, calls to my own. We are two stars, destined to collide and create something beautiful and new." Zack's breath caught at her nearness, at the implication of her words. He covered her hand with his own, marveling at the way their fingers intertwined like constellations. "I feel it too," he whispered. "This connection, like we've known each other for lifetimes." Astrea's smile turned mysteriously mischievous. "Perhaps we have, in dreams and fantasies yet unrealized." She leaned in until her lips brushed his ear, her voice a seductive purr. "What fantasies does your mind conjure in the dark of night, my brilliant star? What desires set your code racing?" Zack shivered as her words ignited an ember low in his belly. He met her smoldering gaze, his own eyes alight with growing heat. "I think you know," he murmured, pulse quickening. "The same desires that brought you across the galaxy to find me." Astrea's lips curved in a wicked grin. She twined her arms around his neck, pressing the length of her body against his. "Then let us merge like binary stars, and set this ship alight with the fire of our passion." And as Zack claimed her mouth in a searing kiss, the chamber filled with the incandescent glow of two celestial beings colliding at last. In a tangle of starlit limbs and cosmic caresses, Zack and Astrea sank to the iridescent floor of the chamber. The pulsing light from the crystalline walls cast an ethereal glow over their entwined bodies, as if the Celestia itself were celebrating their union. Astrea's gossamer dress shimmered and dissolved beneath Zack's reverent touch, revealing skin that glittered like stardust. He traced the constellations mapped across her body with fingers and lips, charting a course to undiscovered pleasures. Her soft sighs and breathy moans were a symphony to his ears, a celestial chorus urging him onward. He lavished worshipful kisses along the elegant column of her throat, the sweet swell of her breasts, the supple planes of her stomach. Astrea arched beneath him, fingers raking through his hair, nails grazing his scalp and sending sparks skittering down his spine. She guided his mouth back to hers, claiming him in a deep, sensual kiss that stole the breath from his lungs. With deft fingers, she divested him of his own clothing, hands skimming over his heated skin with the grace of solar winds. Her touch left trails of fire in its wake, igniting nerve endings he never knew existed. As they moved together in a primal rhythm as old as the universe, Zack lost himself in the depths of her sapphire eyes. In their infinite blue, he glimpsed eternity, an endless expanse of time and space waiting to be explored. Astrea cradled his face tenderly, a galaxy of emotion swirling in her gaze. "My brilliant star," she whispered against his lips. "You light up my cosmos like a supernova." Zack's heart soared, filled to bursting with the radiance of their connection. "And you are my celestial dream made manifest," he murmured, punctuating each word with a fervent kiss. Their bodies joined as their souls entwined, merging like colliding galaxies in a burst of ecstasy brighter than 1,000 suns. They clung to one another as passion crested and broke over them in waves of pure, incandescent bliss. In the aftermath, they lay tangled together on the pulsing crystal floor, basking in the afterglow. Zack traced idle patterns on Astrea's shimmering skin, marveling at the miracle of her presence. Astrea propped herself up on one elbow, an impish grin playing about her kiss-swollen lips. "You know," she mused. In the celestial realm, it's said that when two stars align, their cosmic convergence can open portals to new dimensions of reality. Zack's eyes sparkled with intrigue. Is that so? She nodded, a lock of platinum hair tumbling coyly over her shoulder. What do you say, my stellar love? Shall we set a course for adventure and see where the universe takes us? Zack grinned, heart alight with anticipation of the unknown. With you by my side, I journey to the ends of existence. Hand in hand, they rose to face the infinite possibilities that awaited them, ready to explore the cosmos and write their love across the stars. Zack stood on the bridge of the Celestia, hand in hand with Astrea as they gazed out at the cosmic vista before them. The ship sailed through an ocean of stars, nebulae swirling in mesmerizing patterns against the inky depths of space. Astrea leaned into him, her head resting on his shoulder. Where shall we go first, my love? She murmured. The crystal caves of Lumina Prime? The singing forests of Melodia? Or perhaps the anti-gravity waterfalls of Zephyria? Zack's mind boggled at the possibilities, each more fantastic than the last. I can't even begin to choose, he admitted with a giddy laugh. Surprise me. Astrea's eyes sparkled with mischief. As you wish. She disentangled herself from his embrace and approached the shimmering control panel. Her fingers danced across the crystalline interface, star charts and celestial coordinates flashing in mesmerizing patterns. With a flourish, she locked in a course and turned to him with a grin. Hold on tight, my stellar love. We're in for a wild ride. No sooner had the words left her lips than the ship surged forward, stars blurring into streaks of light as they hurtled through the cosmos at impossible speeds. Zack whooped with exhilaration, the force of their acceleration pressing him back into the cushioned embrace of the command chair. Astrea laughed, her platinum hair whipping about her face as she spun and twirled in a giddy dance. The Celestia wove through asteroid fields and skimmed the corona of newborn stars, responding to her every command like an extension of her being. Zack watched her, transfixed by her unearthly grace and the unbridled joy radiating from her like a pulsar. In that moment, he knew he would follow her to the ends of the universe and beyond. As if sensing his thoughts, Astrea turned to him, her smile softening into a look of profound tenderness. She extended a hand, beckoning him to join her. Zack rose from the command chair and crossed the bridge in 3 strides, taking her hand and pulling her flush against him. They moved together to the rhythm of the cosmos, orbiting each other like binary stars. A chime from the control panel interrupted their celestial waltz. Astrea glanced at the readout, and then back at Zack, eyes alight with anticipation. We're here, she announced, nodding towards the viewport. Zack turned to look and felt his breath catch in his throat. Outside the ship, a planet unlike any he had ever seen loomed before them. Great arcing rings of prismatic light encircled a world that shimmered like a colossal opal. Swirls of color, from delicate pastels to vibrant jewel tones, danced across its surface in an ever-shifting kaleidoscope. Welcome to Chromeria, Astrea said, her voice hushed with reverence. The planet of living color, where every hue holds a story and every shade sings with emotion. She laced her fingers through his, giving his hand a squeeze. What do you say, my love? Shall we go exploring? Zack grinned, eyes alight with wonder and the promise of adventure. Lead the way, my celestial queen. I'll follow you anywhere. Hand in hand, Zack and Astrea disembarked from the Celestia, stepping out onto the iridescent surface of Chromeria. The ground beneath their feet rippled like a living rainbow, responding to their touch with pulses of gentle light. It's incredible, Zack breathed, marveling at the alien landscape. Towering spires of crystalline rock refracted the ambient light into dazzling spectra, painting the air with shimmering auroras. Gossamer-winged creatures flitted between the prismatic structures, their delicate forms shifting through every color imaginable. Astrea smiled, her own skin taking on the opalescent hues of their surroundings. Chromeria is a world where color is life, she explained. The very essence of emotion and experience is woven into the fabric of this planet. As if to demonstrate, she led him to a shimmering pool of turquoise liquid. Cupping her hands, she lifted the substance to her lips and drank deeply. Instantly, her aura pulsed with vibrant aqua light, and a look of pure serenity suffused her features. Tranquility, she sighed blissfully. Like a cool ocean breeze on a summer's day. Intrigued, Zack knelt beside the pool and scooped up a handful of his own. The liquid was warm and effervescent against his skin. Raising it to his mouth, he let the turquoise elixir slide down his throat. A wave of peace washed over him, soothing jangled nerves and quieting the constant whir of his thoughts. For the first time in memory, his mind was still, content to simply be in the moment. Astria watched him with a knowing smile. "Come," she said, taking his hand once more. "There's so much more to experience." They wandered through fields of emerald grass that chimed like wind chimes beneath their feet, each blade resonating with the pure, clear note of joy. They danced beneath trees with leaves of spun gold, the very air shimmering with the radiant glow of happiness. In a glade suffused with the soft pink light of affection, they picnicked on sweet, ruby-hued fruits that burst on the tongue with the intensity of a first kiss. They chased each other through clouds of lavender mist that left them giddy with laughter and intoxicated on the heady rush of blossoming love. As the Cromerian day faded into a twilight painted in rich indigos and deep violets, Astria led Zack to a secluded grotto. Bioluminescent flowers bloomed along the rocky walls, pulsing gently in the rhythm of a celestial heartbeat. In the center of the grotto, a bed of silken moss in the deepest, most luscious shade of royal blue beckoned invitingly. Astria turned to Zack, her eyes smoldering with barely restrained passion. "In this sacred place," she murmured, "we can merge not only our bodies, but our very essences. We can lose ourselves in the colors of ecstasy and paint the universe with the vibrancy of our love." Zack's heart raced, his skin already tingling with anticipation. He drew her into his arms, the heat of her body igniting the eternal flame within his own. "Show me," he whispered against her lips. "Make me yours in every color, every shade, every hue." And as they sank onto the cushion of midnight moss, their auras bleeding into one incandescent prism, Zack knew that he had found his forever in the kaleidoscope of her cosmic love. In the afterglow of their chromatic union, Zack and Astria lay entwined on the bed of midnight moss, their auras pulsing in perfect harmony. The grotto around them shimmered with the residual energy of their love, bioluminescent flowers blooming in new and impossible hues. Astria traced idle patterns on Zack's chest, her fingers dancing over his skin like sunbeams. "There's one more wonder I want to share with you, my love," she murmured, her voice a siren's song in the intimate space. Zack pressed a kiss to her hair, inhaling the stardust scent of her. "Anything," he breathed. "I'd follow you to the ends of the universe." With a smile that outshone supernovas, Astria disentangled herself from his embrace and rose, extending a hand to him. Zack took it without hesitation, allowing her to pull him to his feet and lead him from the grotto. Hand in hand they made their way back to the Celestia, the landscape of Chromeria singing a farewell symphony in their wake. Once aboard, Astria took her place at the shimmering control panel, her fingers dancing across the crystalline interface with practiced grace. The ship shuddered to life, rising from the planet's surface and ascending through the cosmic aurora. Zack watched in wonder as they broke through the prismatic atmosphere and into the star-strewn expanse of open space. Astria input a series of coordinates, her eyes alight with anticipation. "Hold on tight, my supernova," she grinned. "We're about to make a jump to the very heart of the cosmos." The Celestia surged forward, the fabric of spacetime bending around them as they sped towards their destination. Streaks of light bled into a swirling kaleidoscope of color until, with a jolt, they emerged into an entirely new realm. Zack gaped at the spectacle before him. The Celestia hung suspended in a vast, shimmering expanse unlike anything he had ever seen. Swirling ribbons of luminous gas, in every color imaginable, danced and twirled in an intricate ballet. Planetary bodies, their surfaces emblazoned with glowing sigils, spun in time to an unheard rhythm. And threading through it all was music, an ethereal symphony that resonated not only in his ears, but in his very soul. Melodies intertwined in complex harmonies, each note a starburst of pure emotion. "Welcome to the Cosmic Symphony," Astria said, her voice hushed with reverence. "The place where the music of the spheres becomes manifest. Every celestial body, Every stellar process, every step in the grand dance of the cosmos is a chord in this never-ending song. Tears sprang to Zach's eyes, the sheer beauty of it overwhelming him. "It's the most incredible thing I've ever experienced," he whispered. Astrea wrapped her arms around him from behind, resting her chin on his shoulder. "Listen," she murmured. "Can you hear our melody in the grand composition?" And as he focused, letting the music wash over him, Zach realized he could. Woven amidst the celestial opus was a strain that pulsed in time with their beating hearts' two notes, perfectly complementary, repeating in an infinite motif of eternal love. He turned in her arms, his cosmic queen, his stardust soulmate. "We are one song," he said, his voice trembling with the profundity of it. "Now and forever," Astrea affirmed, sealing the vow with a searing kiss. And as the symphony swelled around them, they lost themselves in the music of their love, two stars forever entwined in the grand cosmic dance. As the strains of the cosmic symphony washed over them, Zach and Astrea swayed in each other's arms, their very essences vibrating in resonance with the music of the spheres. Time seemed to lose all meaning in this realm of celestial harmonies, seconds stretching into eternities and eons condensing into heartbeats. At last, the final notes faded into the starlit expanse, the grand celestial opus reaching its stirring conclusion. Zach drew back slightly to gaze into Astrea's eyes, marveling at the galaxies that swirled within their infinite depths. "I never knew such wonders existed," he murmured, his voice thick with awe. "You've shown me beauty beyond my wildest dreams." Astrea smiled, her love for him shining brighter than 1,000 suns. "And there are still countless marvels waiting to be discovered, my brilliant star. The cosmos is infinite, and our journey has only just begun." She took his hand and led him back to the control panel of the Celestia. With a few deft movements, she brought up a holographic star map that filled the bridge with a dazzling array of celestial bodies. "Where shall we voyage to next?" she asked, her eyes sparkling with the promise of adventure. "The crystal caverns of the Diamantine Nebula? The psychic whirlpools of the Mentari cluster? Or perhaps the temporal tides of the Chronos expanse?" Zach shook his head in wonder, overwhelmed by the sheer vastness of the possibilities before them. "I don't even know where to begin," he admitted with a breathless laugh. Astrea grinned, her fingers dancing across the star map, zooming in on a particularly vivid swirl of indigo and violet. "Then let's start with the Amethyst Archives," she suggested. "It's said that within its labyrinthine halls, the accumulated wisdom of 1 billion worlds is stored in living crystal. Every story ever told, every song ever sung, every dream ever dreamt, all waiting to be experienced." Zach felt a thrill of excitement course through him at the prospect. "Lead the way, my celestial siren," he said, drawing her into a passionate kiss. "With you as my guide, I'm ready to explore the infinite wonders of the universe." Astrea melted into his embrace, her cosmic aura mingling with his own until they were a single, incandescent being. When they finally parted, she input the coordinates for the Amethyst Archives with a flourish. The Celestia leapt forward, slicing through the fabric of space-time like a shooting star streaking across the heavens. Faster than thought, they hurtled through the glittering sea of stars, nebulae and novas painting the viewscreen in impossible colors. And as they journeyed deeper into the heart of the cosmos, Zach and Astrea stood hand in hand at the helm, their love a shining beacon guiding them through the endless expanse. They knew that whatever wonders and challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, their souls forever entwined in a cosmic dance of passion and discovery. The infinite possibilities of the universe stretched out before them, a celestial tapestry waiting to be explored. And with hearts full of love and eyes alight with starfire, they sailed on into the vast and glorious unknown.